This conference will now be recorded.
There we go. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. My name is Stephanie Taylor. I'm your Community Association Manager. We've got a small but mighty crowd tonight. So thanks for everyone who joined us in person, and thank you for the folks who've joined us online as well. We do think it's important to do this town hall with our landscaping company every few months. We had one, what was it, in November? October or November. So we wanted to come back and do it again just because it's like a new season and we can get up to date with all things that are going on landscaping. I know our schedule is just changed or is about to change as well, like the mowing schedule. It's about to.
A little bit.
Yeah, so lots of things coming up. Mulching is happening soon, so all those cool things. But I'm going to turn it over to United Land Services. We've got Chris Marquez here. He is the vice president. And then we have John Borland, who is our branch manager. So take it away, guys, and then we'll open it for some questions and answers.
I'll roll it out.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. My name is John Borland. I'm the branch manager. The account manager, who is typically on property, unfortunately couldn't attend this evening. He had to attend a family emergency. So you have just the two of us, the gruesome twosome. But really, I just want to kind of outline a couple of things, really focus on a few things. We have if you ever have a need for a specific landscape need, we have a website that you can go on to actually create a service ticket, which goes directly to us, and you can actually track the progress of this service ticket all the way to completion. If you go in front of the office, there are little cards that says United Land Services, and it has a website location. I believe it's, what is it, web forms issue track. I can't remember it. But it's right on the card. We printed it out for all the residents. So you have it, so you can put it on your fridge or put it on your desk so you can request any type of service ticket. It's really good because I'm able to monitor it, the account manager monitors it, and we really track it from start to finish. If you grab one of the laborers, the workforce out there actually mowing the grass or pruning, and you try to communicate to them, your expectation of that probably going full circle to completion is a 50-50 shot. But if you actually put on a service ticket, then we can track it to completion. We have a lot going on here in the next 30, 60, 90 days. We are already started out our weekly mow cycles. We're contracted to start weekly mowing after the 15th of this month, but we've already started because the grass is growing. Mother Nature has, no, we have not.
No, you have, the grass is not growing.
The grass is not growing?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll have to figure out where you are and see what's going on with your particular residence. Okay.
It's the whole street, but that's not started.
Phase 5?
I don't know phases. I've only been here
Oh,
a year
I'm
and a half.
sorry.
I'm on Fallen Oak, so I don't know what phase that is.
Okay.
Is it?
Okay.
That is phase 5, right?
Is it? Okay, thank you. Sorry.
It's okay.
That one,
We're second owners, so.
We've been working in that section probably harder, just as much as everywhere else, but we don't seem to quite get the result yet. We're hoping with another few cycles of mowing and getting some organic matter into the soil, everything that we put into the lawn, hopefully it'll stay there and actually go into the turf and help it fill in a little bit. But it's the biggest struggle in the community.
Okay, well, I'm glad you're aware of it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, that was one of my biggest concerns.
We are going to do a detailing. Every property will be detailed in completion once a month. Stephanie, have you actually received a schedule of the different sections where we're going to be throughout the month?
Not yet, but I spoke to Carl and I should have that next week.
Okay. You'll have that, so that can be shared with the community. You'll know which sections we'll be actually detailing. again, your property will be mowed, edged, line trimmed, and blown off on a weekly basis. Is there a question already?
And just mode, what's detail?
Oh, detail is pruning of bushes, spraying for weeds, pulling weeds, just any type of general cleanup around in your landscaping beds. That's what we call detail.
And that's about once a month, you said?
Once a month, correct.
Were they supposed to mow today?
Actually, this week, they're just focusing on detail in section 1.
They haven't started mowing.
They haven't started mowing yet today. I was here earlier this morning and they're just detailing today. All right. Couple big things that are starting. We have mulch scheduled for this month. We are scheduled to have some deliveries this week. We're going to start staging the mulch throughout the property. No, it will not be staged in your front yard. Okay? It'll be staged in some common areas throughout the community where it doesn't interrupt any type of vehicular or pedestrian traffic.
Can I ask a question in terms of the mulch? I mean, I have a couple questions, but since you just mentioned it.
Mm-hmm.
So the pest service and the termite people that come and give us our termite warranties,
Yes.
they have some concerns because they're always saying, mulch is too thick, it's harboring moisture. You're gonna void your warranty if the mulch continues to get this thick because it's just wet, 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 which draws the termites. So that being said, I noticed that when they mulch, they throw mulch, but they don't remove old, diseased, damaged mulch. So how long can we allow that to go on before the old mulch is removed, before the new stuff is placed, so that we do not void any of our warranties?
Right. You have pine bark that's installed. It's one of the longest lasting mulches out there. It doesn't really decompose like a shredded hardwood mulch. So you do have a tendency of it starting to build.
Yeah.
Plant material loves the mulch, but it doesn't like the mulch just mounted up around the base of the plant. That will actually suffocate.
So I've been here since 2020 and I've never seen removal, I've only seen put down. So,
in certain areas where we already have mulch, it's going to be just a dusting of mulch. Other areas we have bare soil, so those need a full 2-inch application of mulch.
so who determines if it's too thick? Are your
We have a supervisor.
mulchers educated enough to say, oh, there's a bunch of mold over here that needs to be removed?
Yeah, when they're walking on the mulch, you can tell if it's got quite a bit of accumulation.
You can see it. My pest guy said that's all.
You can see it, you can
much.
feel it when you walk on it.
So who would you suggest, if we are a homeowner and if we do feel that it's too thick and needs to be removed before the new stuff's replaced, who would we contact?
You can contact us. We can remove it, but it's not within our contract to remove it. So we would actually meet with you. We would remove all the old mulch and then do that prior to our installation.
Okay, so it does become a concern if our pest services and stuff are bringing it to our attention.
Yes, pest services don't like any mulch up against the foundation.
Which, yeah, there is.
As a rule of thumb, about 3 to 4 inches max is where you want your mulch.
Okay.
So when we do a refresher, like John mentioned earlier, it's really just a lightly dusting, a fresh color. If they're going thicker than that, then they shouldn't be.
So as homeowners, we're free then to keep the cost down if we want to remove our own?
Absolutely.
Get rid of it before March 25th, before the mulching starts?
Yep, and you can also put in a work order and we can actually give you a proposal, see what the cost would be for us to do that for you if you'd like as well.
And really, if there's any other residents in that same boat, please let us know. And we'll wait for you all to remove that mulch before we actually install. And we'll let you know, hey, this is our last week we're in here mulching, because we'd like to get it all completed within a 3-week period of time. Which we plan on doing. We might even get done a little bit earlier, but let us know, because we can keep an eye on it, wait for you to complete the removal before we do it.
And mulch removal is recommended in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean,
Especially with
if the
fine mark.
professionals that do it every day are telling me that it's too much, I'm gonna take it.
Mark, yeah.
Anything over 3 to 4 inches is too much.
Yeah.
So you're talking about the areas that are real shallow that's showing dirt
Yes.
in our back area. One section, it's all dirt. That's come through, so you guys.
2 to 3 inches of mulch will be put on those areas. Yeah, and there's some other areas that adjoin the golf course when I'm walking through that buffer between the golf course. I can tell there's quite a bit of mulch in there. If I dig down, I mean, that's a good 6 to 8 inches, but there's nothing there. It's great to keep it there because it helps us with the weed penetration and keep that Bermuda out from into your St. Augustine. So this month, we are scheduled to do the mulch refresh in March. March, we are going to start our palm tree pruning, all the Washingtonians that are up against a lot of the houses in Queen Palms. We'll start pruning those in March. Your flowers throughout the community at the monuments and here at the club will be scheduled, I believe, the last week of this month. All the flowers will be removed and new flowers will be brought in, more of the spring flowers. So, yes, another question.
Back to the mulch thing.
Yes.
Sort of. So we have a fence, it was here when we moved in, over there. But we're on a corner lot, so the other side that shares the property line with our neighbor. Last year, landscaping came through, dropped grass killer. It killed the grass underneath the fence line.
Okay.
Never really found out why. It's not cutting back.
Okay.
So do we assume that that's because mulch is gonna get put in, even though it was not killed 6 inches on either side of the fence line? It's just kind of a thin path underneath the fence.
And you did not give approval, or did your neighbor give approval for us to do that?
Yeah.
Neither or?
It just, one day went out, grass is dead. But on the north side of our fence, there's still grass on the fence. So I'm not,
We typically do not spray out underneath a fence. I would highly encourage it because it'll prevent us from damaging it with mowers, weed eaters, and everything else.
Totally get that.
So we encourage residents to do it, but we wait for the residents to give us permission before we spray out. And yes, they will get some mulch in that little buffer as well.
Probably.
about 6 inches,
So 6 inches?
maybe, if you're lucky.
Yeah.
But the question is one side's done, but the other side wasn't.
Interesting. And your side was?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it was done, on the south side of our fence was done, but the north side of the fence was not done. But we did move that fence up to help the mowers from sliding down the hill and running into the fence. But that wasn't healed off. Just the one section.
It was very.
It's very odd. I cannot explain to you why here this evening. Possibly Carlin could, but without him being here.
Well, that actually happened before Carlin moved into our section.
Oh, really?
It was,
Karen?
Karen.
Karen.
And even she was like,
Yeah, we asked her, she,
Did she mulch it at least for you?
no,
no.
No, okay. Well,
Because it's not even a big enough
carried them.
area to mulch. You'd be like dropping a piece.
but again, we as the service provider, and I believe it's even in your bylaws or somewhere that if that buffer is not provided and the fence is damaged by us trying to service it, that it would be the homeowner's responsibility. However, if we do provide that buffer for you and we damage it, we own the fence.
Right.
Well.
But we don't spray anything without talking to a
No,
homeowner.
we
Which
typically
is
do
what
not.
we're here about.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I know that.
Can you be sure to inform your people of that, because I have the same issue. I installed a fence and the whole border is all dead.
Really?
Yes, all brown and dead.
So was it, well,
I'm on Clubman,
yeah.
so.
Yeah, so.
We'll address that with the crews, absolutely.
Yes.
And do you suggest that we go ahead and turn in a ticket and if we have a conversation with Carlin, or what do you suggest?
Actually, so two with the small group that we have in this room, it's probably happened elsewhere.
Okay.
So that's a conversation not only with Carlin, but the entire group.
Okay.
We don't give permission to do any of that without the homeowners discussion.
But I would request you to submit a ticket. That way we can ensure that we do spray the rest of it and put a nice mulch strip around it so it looks
Yes.
finished.
We can do that because there's another section, I don't know, they came in and sprayed. We had some nice that was planted. They came in and spread or sprayed, killed every one of our plants.
Still those off.
Put in a work ticket, so.
We already
Yes.
taken care of, but there's a section along my grass on the backside of my denied that's dead now. So not quite sure, randomly just died.
Again, if we can come out, we can kind of do so and
So to figure out just how.
some logic or some reason what happened.
Harlan's great. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly,
Yeah.
we've had no complaints.
And honestly, you can just put in one work ticket and show all the concerns, the fence, the sod, all of it. We'll get it all addressed at once.
Like I said, we've had no problems with everything that we walked into when we bought this house last June. We've had no issues, considering all the problems we heard with the previous gave the landscaping company. It's all worked out pretty well for us.
Good, good, good. Yes.
In terms of the spray, that's one of the reasons why I actually came today. You mentioned the schedule and you mentioned detail, and I heard you say detail something about organics.
There's no organics in the program.
Okay.
You're talking about spray or fertilization or something like
Well,
that?
yes, so I thought I heard you say organic, so that's why I was gonna ask you before I asked you my next question.
I think when the mulch breaks down, it organic material over the soil.
Oh, I see,
So it
okay.
kind of helps change the composition of the soil.
So my question is regarding the use of spray in the community.
Mhm.
What are you spraying exactly?
In the contract, we have 6 fertilizations throughout the community. We have to control all the weed pressure that's in the turf and in the beds.
Yeah.
And we control the disease insects, fungicides and insecticides.
So how are you controlling the weeds?
We use a herbicide.
Is it, can you give us the name of the herbicide?
Sure. We actually,
Can you provide, so my concern is that I see a lot of spraying, spray. Every time I turn around, every down, there's a chocolate spray. Spray, and they're just aimlessly spraying. First of all, as a pet owner, this is where I'm coming from. A lot of pets in the neighborhood have gotten sick over the past 2 months. My neighbor was sprayed on a Wednesday and his Frenchie spent the whole weekend in the hospital, $7,500. My problem is that I know that some sprays are really bad.
yes.
So are you using Roundup type sprays when you say weed killer? Because if that's the case, then I really want to be informed when you're coming, the areas that you're coming on, so that I can protect myself, my grandchildren, and my dogs. It's just way too much of a coincidence. I have a friend that just, her dog on juice just lost half a paw after battling an infection for 2 months. So we know that there were areas that were so oversprayed that they actually had to go out and replace. This happened in the fall.
Yes.
So the concern is starting to build. People are talking, we're starting to get concerned. When you spray, we would like to know what you're spraying, when you're spraying, where you're spraying, that way there we can decide for ourselves, do we want that spray around your house? I want it in my yard where my dogs are. No, I don't. So we have to have some kind of in place that
We can inform the management company of the products that we're using.
MSDS sheets, please.
We provide all that. We also provide a report with everything that was applied to the property.
Okay.
Now, products that we use are not skull and crossbone type of products. Back in the day, they used to use some pretty heavy duty products. That is really controlled by the agricultural.
I'm sure there's dry times though. There's cautionary times where you spray.
Yes, absolutely. Honestly,
I do have a question, I'm so sorry. Do you put the flags out, like when an area is
we
sprayed?
do put it at every single home. We put it like about every 4 or 5 houses. It's all in the line of sight. So if I have a sign here, I'll probably see one in the middle of the parking lot and then one at the entrance. So it's a line of sight.
I don't agree with you. If I'm in the middle of the street and it's far to that corner, and I just walk my dog all the way down, that's a problem. So I think that you should follow up. You can go ahead and put your signs.
Yep.
I notice on the signs, there's a spot too that someone needs to write in the date, that it's always blank. So my suggestion is maybe put out a spray so that we get it in our email, so that, I don't just at 7 in the morning, take my dog out and walk half a mile and
Sure.
then I run into a sign.
We will let management know that we, prior to coming in on the property and treating. We will provide the MSDS sheets and the product names. It is highly advisable to keep your pet off the lawn until it dries.
And we will, but we just need to know.
Correct.
We need to know counts. Yeah.
And I understand where you're coming from. I have two pets when I treat my yard or I have it treated with the same products we treat here. I tell my family, do not let the dogs out. Let's wait about 20 to 30 minutes until it's dry.
Yeah.
And you can let them out.
But John, what if we're the homeowner that doesn't want you in the backyard at all spraying? You can do that.
Yeah, so we have a list compiled of homeowners who have like requested safety.
I should be on that list because when United first took over, I actually wrote a letter on their portal, but they're still going in my backyard. So now I've gone and locked my gate. And that's how passionate I am about this. I bought a lawnmower and a weed trimmer, so when I'm here for 6 months, because I'm only here part of the year, I do my own. Because I keep the gates locked.
Okay.
But they weren't listening to, or, I don't know where the fall of communication came in, because I did put it in writing, but I still have to go out there and tell them to please don't spray along the fence. Like I told you earlier, the whole border now of the fence is dead, because that's obvious that weed killer was sprayed.
We do have a new manager on property now, and anytime anything happens like that, we'll make sure to communicate anything that's scheduled, that any wall application, we'll make sure that the community is notified prior to us applying any type of product.
Okay. When I leave, I unlock the gate, they can have full access, but when I'm here, I don't want any spray. And a lot of other homeowners feel the same as I do.
Well, listen, we this request, and the best scenario for me is to have a red reflector by that's an identifier saying, hey, this person does not want anything treated in their backyard. We use that on a lot of these type of scenarios as well.
Okay. So would you please make sure, please,
Yes.
that you put it in writing to the homeowners of what you're spraying, the calendar of events, and the MSDS sheets?
Sure.
Thank you.
We can work together.
Are you someone's responsible for, like, in front of where the mailboxes are? I'm on Fallen Oak.
By the pool down there in the middle of.
We're pretty, more than
Is
likely,
that,
we're
like,
responsible.
you mow
for
that,
it.
right? You
Yes.
treat that, it is loaded with a full strip of an ant mound right in front of where the mailboxes are.
We have,
And it's been there for months.
again,
It's just
it's
growing
another
and
product,
growing
but
and growing.
it's basically an ant.
And I checked it right before I came here, I stepped on it, ants everywhere.
Yeah.
So, that is where we get our ants. Fallen Oak.
Following.
When you come in the backside or west side,
That's phase 5.
phase 5. Yeah, phase 5 is a mess, I'm sorry. You guys also do irrigation?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm watering weeds and dirt. I got my water bill right here from last year to this year. It's gone up $20. And I have dirt and weeds for a yard. Most of Fallen Oak looks like crap, I'm sorry. And I guess you are aware of that because you mentioned that earlier.
Mhm.
But why are they irrigating this so much more than last year?
So the irrigation is set twice a week right now. These are what we're allowed to by the county, and we're just following their restrictions.
These lines don't lie. It's way more than it was last year.
I'd be more than happy to give you your address. We'll have your system checked, but right now, the irrigation on the property is set to twice a week. That's all we're allowed to by the county.
It's too long.
Drip line maybe is 45, because there's not a lot of water going to the drip
But
line.
you're watering weeds and dirt is my point.
Drip line's gonna be for the plants, but again, we can assess your turf areas and
I would like someone to meet me. I want an appointment. Because my yard looks like shit. Sorry, I hate to be that way. The whole front yard corner is dirt.
Right.
And I also want to know, why can't your people weed a straight line? I'm a hairstylist. I know how to cut a straight line. But the whole side yard's like this. Front is all weed.
You're edging. Not we whacking my dad.
I'm not, it's edging, I'm sorry, I meant edging. I'm like, and then also with the mowing, my house sets further in than my two side houses. They across stairs, and then just leave. I actually went out there, looked at the girl, and I was like, seriously? She didn't mow my whole lawn. She only went across where the dots connected and then just took off. So they're not even mowing a whole third of my lawn because it's not going in the end of the line with the two houses.
Was it missed all entirely, or did it, because a lot of times we
They're only
have,
mowing weeds at this point because that's the only thing that's growing. But it wasn't that it was missed.
Well,
Two houses that are here, my house is here. They're going across, and then taking off. They're not coming in that extra third of my lawn to cut.
I don't know your yard specifically, but I know that we use some of the larger mowers to get wide open areas, and we come back with a smaller mower for a 36.
I'm home every day during the day. I'm there all the time when they're there. They are not. I've actually gone out there and looked at them and put my arms up, and they drive away. I talked to one of the people. I went out and stopped one of your trucks, and I said, you tell that person to come back and finish mowing my lawn, because they did not. And whoever it was did send them back to finish mowing. But this is unacceptable. We pay way too high HOA.
You put in a work order?
No, I just found out. We're new here. We've only been here for a year.
The work order is a direct line of communication with us. That is the best way to get things working.
And I, irrigation guy, this was back in, he said, oh, he sees the whole part of my yard is dead. He's like, oh, they're gonna be starting in November. But he didn't tell me to put a work order in. He just said they're gonna be going around starting in November, and that never happened. And I've been traveling a lot, so I haven't been here enough. I couldn't make the last meeting, I wasn't here.
Again, I don't know who you spoke to. Carlon is who you need to speak to on situations like that.
It's whoever came and played with my irrigation and told me I wasn't supposed to touch it.
So Carlon is the account manager. Yeah, Carlon is the only person who can actually authorize putting down sod in someone's yard. So any requests, any concerns, all that needs to go through the work order system, not with someone who, like you mentioned earlier, that you just see working in the yard, because they don't have the authority to make those type of decisions.
Okay.
And the work order it's just a direct line of communication for us, for you to bring your concerns to our attention so that we can address them.
Okay.
Carlin will help you quite a bit.
And we did do some turf replacements, because to your point earlier, we did spray a hot mix. It was actually, herbicide supposed to be sprayed in the beds, and actually got sprayed in many turf areas, and we basically ponied up. We made sure that the management team knew about it, and we came in and ripped out all of that turf and replaced it on our dime. If that was probably the sod replacement that was happening, but we only spray or only replace the yards where we actually did the damage ourselves. So that's why the miscommunication on like sod's going down, but like there was no determination on who's had what. It's only in the yards that we damaged ourselves.
Right, but I'm also concerned why my water bill went up $20. I mean,
I can't speak to that, but like I said, we can definitely check your irrigation and make sure it's and it's following the county restrictions, and make sure there's no cracks or broken heads or breaks
At the meter, if the system isn't running, but your meter is still working and spinning, that means that there's a break somewhere. And that's the only way, because sometimes that you may have a break or a crack somewhere in your line. So Carlin, very knowledgeable. He can figure that out for you.
Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Do you do any pruning of the trees? You mentioned the palm trees. We have 3 large trees in our backyard, which don't look like we've been here since September. However, they don't look like they've been pruned anytime in the last time.
Really, anything in the backyard, as long as it's elevated high enough so we can get through there, it's not going to whack you in the eyes or anything like that. If you do have any low-hanging branches in your backyard, just let us know and we'll elevate it for you. Then that needs to be elevated, unless it's a magnolia.
No, it's not a magnolia.
Okay.
I mean, we have a pond behind us, so I mean, it's easy access for anyone to come, but, so just put a ticket in?
Yes.
That's what I think.
I do want to point out.
And what height do you want that to be elevated to?
Well, I just,
Right?
Yeah.
like, the branches that are like 6 inches off the ground. These trees have not been pruned in a long time. These are trees that
And the skirt needs to be raised.
20 feet high.
Sure.
Yeah, if you put in a work order, Carlon will come out and speak to you.
He's a great guy, by the
Yeah,
way.
the only reason why we wouldn't prune it would be if it was a magnolia or maybe even a cypress tree where those need to be full to the ground. But if it's an oak tree, we'll typically live it to about 10 feet. And then
Yeah.
palms, I believe get trimmed twice a year per the contract.
No, it's just those two.
Just hard trees?
Yeah. That was my question. Okay, that's great. No, Harlan is.
And really the palms, and the date palms and the Washingtonian palms. The Washingtonian palms, I believe, are in March and again in the fall. I don't know exact date. And then the date palms are June and December. So it's 2 different times, and it's really when they seed out, when they fruit out, and we want to make sure it gets fruit, so it doesn't cause any
I have a
problem.
question. Why are so many palm trees dying?
In certain areas, phase 6 or phase 4, which is over near the North Pool. I'm sorry, I don't know the names of how you all call it. We call it 1 through 5.
5. It's in 5.
Phase 5?
It's
Okay.
not appropriate
Pygmy dates, there's fusarium, and the queen palms and the pygmy dates in phase 4 also have fusarium. It's a disease that I cannot treat and save. The best thing to do is when it's dying is to remove it as possible before it spreads to any of the other tree or palm trees.
And that palm disease does go airborne. So if your tree is infected at your house, it can easily transfer to your neighbor's yard.
It's not mine yet, but I feel like it's encroaching into my area. My neighbor across the street he pulled it out himself with his car. And then it was horrible. I'm watching him wait. I was waiting for somebody.
But to be honest with you, the quicker you can get it out, the better. I know you probably didn't want to hear that. But that disease palm, like you need to get it out off your property, out of the community as quickly as possible.
Why doesn't somebody from the landscaping service recognize that these trees are dying and take some action? They're not.
We actually will. Those palms are the residents' responsibility. So if you wanted to have it removed, you have to go through the architectural
Yeah, but
review
why don't
committee.
we come by and say, hey, your tree is sick.
Because we don't know.
So we have done that for quite a few homeowners. I mean, I don't know about your neighbor in particular, but a lot of times when Carlon does notice that something is struggling on the property, they'll let me know and we'll reach out to the homeowner on United's behalf. And whether that's just letting them know it's like a palm looks like it has a disease, or if it requires, we ask them if they'd like a proposal for anything. But we do reach out to quite a few homeowners.
We definitely try to be proactive, especially with that.
Also, just because I know you send out quite a bit of information to the residents, is just pull up an article and say, hey, listen, if your palm tree is looking like it's not well, the disease that we have going on in the community, if you doubt that you have it or not, put in a work ticket, we'll come out and we'll advise you on what needs to be done with your palm. So
Yeah, that's a good
I
idea.
can get you a document.
Can you tell me what kind of oak trees are on the sidewalks? Are they scrub-like?
Most of them are live oaks.
So we're talking about regular trees. I know on Dove Valley, I think it's between Moss Creek and Eagle Glen. There's one smaller tree. It's not a real tree, but it's a smaller tree that's not leaf right now. The branches are over the both. And if there's a car coming and I have to go by that tree, it's out my truck.
Do you have an address for that, or?
It's on Dove Valley, it's on the north. I think it's Moss Creek Lane, between Moss Creek Lane and Eagles Lane. But you can see it because it literally is hanging low. You can see a couple of branches are broken.
So I know in Dove Valley, it goes from live oaks, and there's a string of homeowners that have pine trees as street trees
It's not
too.
pine trees, it's a shorter tree.
And it doesn't have any foliage right now?
No foliage on it right now. whatsoever.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever it is, but it's obvious when you go by it, you can see it. It's like I said, because I'll move over across the road to miss it, but if there's a car coming and I can't, they'll take the top of my truck off.
We'll take care of it.
Thank you.
Can I ask one final question?
Absolutely.
Many as you want.
Backing up to the chemical conversation that we had, you had said that for homeowners that want to opt out of the chemical spraying, we just have to put it in writing to you. And then what do you do with that information? Who do you give it to? A Supra, your crews? Who's held accountable?
We give it to our ag department, who control what we spray. Carlin will manage all of the Roundup applications and of chemical treatments on the lawn or the shrubs. We have a manager who oversees that department.
So if I, at 1419 Clubman, don't want my yard sprayed, you'll tell the super will tell the guy.
All three supers that will.
Okay.
And
So
they're
does he have a
responsible.
clipboard, because there's so many homes, like say on Two Circle, there's a million of them.
Mhm.
How does he know? Does he get or something that says, 2010 Deuce, no spray, 1419?
We have maps and a list of certain, there's, I believe, one resident that we don't do anything for. There are other residents that don't have their shrubs pruned. And if there's any resident who does not want to have any type of weed control in their beds or their turf or any type of insecticides or any spray whatsoever, it has to be in writing to the management company. We'll get that and we'll oversee with our managers to make sure.
So it's communicated just verbally, and then you give them something
In
in writing?
writing, it's in writing.
There's accountability.
Yes.
So if you give them that in writing and then they're in my yard spraying, then what do I do?
You call me right away and we'll make sure move on.
Okay.
And Carlin's here to help us manage that as well, right?
Okay. Can we just have a meeting with Carlin, just set it up and like walk our particular properties?
Absolutely. That's what the work order, so you can send a work order and be like, hey, I have some concerns with my turf. Can someone come out and take a look at it?
Like a conversation.
Yes. It doesn't have to be cut and dry, like I need my palms trimmed and we're just gonna come in there and trim your palms that hit close. Like when we close, we're required to put a solution. So if it was a broken irrigation head, or I don't want my yard to be treated, whatever it is, we're gonna go in there. We're gonna try and have face-to-face contact with you first. We're gonna come knock on your door. We even have door hangers. We can leave saying, hey, stop by at this time. But if you want to just come out and speak to Carlin, just, hey, I have some, stop by, and you can actually message at the time to have a meeting at your home.
I think the work order system actually has an option.
You can add notes.
Yeah, it says
Yep.
consultation request.
Yep.
Yes.
And Carlin
Just
is,
say, I would like you to come to my house and let's set up a time.
yep. And Colin is phenomenal, but we want to make sure that you guys are happy, make sure that your landscape is being taken care of. That's our end game. Yeah, he is a phenomenal, he's probably one of the best account managers I've worked with.
Please note, he will be out until next week. So.
Yes.
He is a family emergency. That's why he couldn't attend tonight, but typically he would be here with us. Yes.
Just saying, he won't be meeting with you this week.
Yes.
I don't know if anybody else has experienced this or not, but in my daughter's backyard, there's some back there, and if it touches your toes, it feels like you just had an ant. Hurts for hours.
Yeah, that's a winter, it's a broadleaf winter weed. Thorns on them. I mean, we can spray it.
I have one in my yard.
I couldn't find what did it, but it was horrible.
They're even hand pulling it, it's discomfort.
So does your weed killer take care of that?
Yes.
Yes.
And there's different types of weed killers. So, she mentioned Roundup earlier. The main ingredient of Roundup, we use a Ranger Pro, which uses the glyphosate. That's what we use to spray your weeds in your beds. We do not spray glyphosate in your turf. Glyphosate is a non-selective. That means everything it touches, it's going to kill. So, when I mentioned broadleaf winter weed, we've got some herbicides that we spray in the wintertime that target that stuff. Then we've got other herbicides that we spray going into spring to target, spring weeds. Then you've got dollar weed or globe set, which is basically from overwatering.
And what causes the overwatering?
Irrigation or
It's got it cranked up too many minutes.
well, we don't have a whole lot of dollar weed prevalent here, thankfully.
Oh, we do.
Well,
You guys need to
it's very
work all
small.
that.
No. I know
I
where the
just
percentage is, so.
So
So does Carlin. So,
But again,
I mean,
I
the community
can't,
I came, we were responsible for our yards. My house would have a lien on it right now if I didn't take care of it. That's how strict it was. That's why I want to be that strict. I want my plush green lawn that I'm paying for, that I. And I think she feels the same way. She
see if we
lives
can
in my
get that turned
section.
around for you.
I know you got handed something that you didn't create, and I understand that.
so we've been here just over a year, and I can tell you in time, these things start to correct themselves. It's all about changing the organic matter in the soils. It's about changing the soil composition. And in time, we can get that lush to be green and full of vigor.
But how do you ensure that these people who are walking through the yards are actually spraying?
What do you mean? Our technique? Well, we've got products that we have to put out. I mean, if you're not being.
Actually spraying,
If,
or just walking through the yard?
no, we couldn't do that. I'm telling you, if your
Do that, I've seen it.
if your yard wasn't being fertilized, it wouldn't be green. Like
It's
there's
not
so
green.
there's so many micro and macronutrients that are required just to get this the turf to thrive in these conditions. It'd be very noticeable if we weren't spraying.
Do you want my pictures? Because I have them.
Again, we'd be more than happy to meet you at your house. I mean,
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm here. I mean, I should have the same lawn that other people have.
After this meeting, I'll be happy to walk over to your garden. Let's figure out what's going on.
I'd appreciate that. I really would, because, you know, it's just not me, because now what happens, this is what happened where I lived before. This yard's not being taken care of, and this yard's not taken care of, and then it just totally comes in and it takes over your yard. So it's not just my yard. It's, you look across my neighbor and I have dead spot, dead spot, dead spot. You know, we all share the same problem. And I get emotional about
you're
this stuff.
passionate. There's
Yes,
nothing wrong
I am
about
passionate.
that.
I spent 15 years on the HOA where I used to live and dealt with a lot of stuff. So that's kind of where it comes from. Another reason why I'm not happy to find out that those are live oaks. Because the community I came from, destroying sidewalks, destroying them.
I mean, that's unfortunately what.
I know it's not your fault.
Yeah.
What the developer puts in, but now now my brain goes, what's gonna happen then?
Right.
And where's that money gonna come from?
Right.
Our dues to fix all the sidewalks. You know, it's a monopoly effect. Like I said, I have a lot of background. I mean, I was in Orange County, I got staff. I'm very knowledgeable with all this stuff. And like I said, that's where my passion comes from. You know, we deserve to have the yard that the people on Trappers Lane have. You know, like, and if that means resodding, then that means resodding. I didn't buy into that. Sorry.
Their zone, phase 5 is the toughest area that we have right now. It was tough when we came in, and it's still.
We have company come over and, you know, your yard looks like that, and they're like, yeah, I mean, not that they're judging, but it's just like looking at it. You pull up in your driveway and you're like, oh, there's all my dead grass.
Listen, it's the curb appeal of your home. I get it. That's why you're passionate, and you want to put your best foot forward for your friends and family that do come over. And I'm telling you, once we get the turf established, we can keep it lush and green and full of color and vigor. It's to that point. And to your point earlier, you know, we did inherit a lot of these issues, and unfortunately, landscaping, unless you want to dump a bunch of money into it, that's the immediate fix, and that immediate curb appeal. That's how it's only going to get fixed quickly. If you want to give it time and let our program take its place, it will get corrected. But
you said you took over a year ago?
About a year ago. 1 year and 2 months.
It's getting worse. My dead patch went from this little corner of grass to like a whole big section. That's not fixing it.
Well, again, we can take a look at your yard. You know, we did a full property audit before we started, and we documented everyone's house in the conditions where they're. So if it is gotten worse, then we can take a look at it and see what we need to get to make it look better.
That's just it. We have a whole library when we did the audit photographs.
Oh, I know, this is a huge community, I understand that.
So when we come to your home, we kind of look back and listen, if it's on south, we'll own it, okay? And we have owned some homes in here where something had gotten away from us. is it typically not the whole yard, but there's sections of it that we had. So let's take a look at your home, let's see what's going on, let's see what's driving that, and see how we can.
Do we have any other questions in the audience? We do have a comment online.
Okay.
I live on the golf course and have a number of shrubs on the back of my house, and United has maintained them beautifully. Thank you. And your services are much appreciated.
Thank you, Laura.
Well, any closing statement?
Really, it's all on communication. As long as we can have the open communication, and the website is a direct line of communication for us and for you. And it really helps us. There's a lot of homes, there's a lot of residents out here. This is a tool that helps us make sure that we're servicing you and your needs.
Yeah. And if you feel like you're not getting a response for the work order system, please email me, and then I can take it on as well. So.
And I can't stress enough, I just want to echo what John said, communication is key. Carlon is a phenomenal account manager, I can't speak highly enough of him. If he's not getting what you guys need done and getting it done in a timely manner, this is what you have John and I for. We are his support system. So when Carlon needs support, this is who he calls. So this is why when you have these town hall meetings, this is why John and I always attend them, because we want to make sure you guys see the different layers that you have access to. This community is near and dear to us. This is our first maintenance-free community this size. So we want to make sure we're doing right by you guys. So I can't stress enough, if we don't know what the issues are, what your concerns are, we don't know how to fix it. So use the work order system to bring it to our attention so that we have the ability or the know-it-all to actually go out and make your concerns remedied.
Well, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for attending, and thank you for joining us, you guys. We will plan the next one.
That's the win.
Perfect. Thank you for everyone who joined us online.